How to take action despite of fear. Have you ever looked at yourself and thought, wow, I am so far detached from who I want to be in life? I'm going to show you the 4 frameworks that I have used to become successful and the goal setting techniques that rewire your brain. When I was 19, I was crippled by anxiety, fear, and felt hopeless in my situation. From studying self-development for over 10 years, I realized over 90% of people feel that way about some part of their life too. People use their negative thoughts, beliefs, and emotions as reasons not to do things. I'm fed up, I'm frustrated, I'm too worried, I'm too sad. Can you think of how many times you've told yourself these things? The world has brainwashed us into thinking negative emotions are inferior and the reason you don't fit into the mold they try to push you into, which forces the general mass of the world to shove those feelings deep down and screw a tight lid on them. I always thought there was something wrong with me. Anxiety, panic disorder, phobias. The labels society pushes onto you then become the reason you can't achieve your goals and do the things you want to do. I was suffering from chronic pain. I was in a toxically draining relationship. I was in and out of binge-starved food cycles. You don't need more discipline. You need a new self-image. Here are the 4 frameworks that I have used to become who I want to be in life and achieve my necessary goals, along with practical structures for each of them so you can use them in your life too. 2 frameworks are subconscious-based goal models, and 2 frameworks are performance psychology-driven models. Let's begin with number 1, identity-based goals by James Clear. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your identity. Most people say things like, I want to lose weight, I want to stop procrastinating. How many times has that actually worked for you? The brain doesn't get emotionally attached to outcomes. It gets attached to who we think we are. Instead of saying, I want to work out, reframe it to, I'm becoming someone who honors their body with movement every day. This isn't surface level affirmation work. This is neural conditioning. Your brain wires around repetition, emotion, and identity. The more you repeat identity-aligned language and actions, the more that identity actually becomes automatic. But I'm someone who honors their body with movement every day doesn't mean anything if you don't actually go to the gym or you do not exercise and actually move your body. The practical structure of the hard goals technique, heartfelt, animated, required, and difficult, helps you to build a structure for the execution of your goals. Heartfelt. The goal has to mean something to you, not your ego or your social media bio. Ask yourself, why do I really want this? Tie it to emotion and values, not numbers or aesthetics. Instead of, I want to lose 10 kilograms, write down, I want to feel strong, energized, and capable in every situation and when I walk into a room. Animated. In a study published in the Journal of Neurophysiology, participants who only visualized strength training increased their muscle power by over 20%. No exercise, no weights. The same pathways in your brain light up when vividly imagining something, just the same as when you actually do it. Olympic legend Michael Phelps visualized every race hundreds of times before diving in. LeBron James uses mental rehearsal to stay composed under pressure. Even Oprah Winfrey credits visualization as a key part to her success. Can you visualize what your life looks like once the goal is achieved? What clothes are you wearing? What are people saying to you? How do you walk? You can spend 60 seconds to 5 minutes a day visualizing the end point, vivid and sensory rich. Make these outcomes so real in your nervous system that it feels inevitable. Required. This isn't optional. You have to treat the goal like oxygen, not like a wish. What happens if you don't do it? What's the cost of staying the same? This is where we can harness negative emotions for our benefit. If you put on, let's say, 10 kilograms this past year and continued, where would that put you in 5 years' time? Picture that and feel what that life would be like if you don't change. Ask yourself, what's the price I pay for inaction? Tie the goal to your future pain and future power. Required goals don't leave space for excuses because they trigger commitment. Difficult. If your goal doesn't stretch you, it won't change you. You need resistance to grow stronger, just like in the gym. Make the goal big enough that it demands a new identity, but not so big it shuts you down and paralyzes you in anxiety. Micro adjustments. Don't say I'll try to walk every day. Say I'll hit 10,000 steps no matter what, rain, stress, excuses included. I will hit 10K steps. Stretching goals activates drive. They build momentum and create confidence through action. So when you combine your identity shift with the hard structure, you're not just saying, I'm someone who works out. You're saying, I care about how I feel. I care about my goals. I can picture the outcome vividly. This matters more to me than my comfort, and I'm willing to stretch myself to become that person. Self-image psychocybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. This is my favorite one. Dr. Maxwell Maltz discovered something fascinating in his work as a reconstructive surgeon. Even after giving people a new face, many of them still felt ugly. Why is that? Because their self-image didn't change. They couldn't see themselves differently, and that inner image dictated their confidence, their actions, and even life outcomes, how people treated them. Framework 1 is about building your future identity. But this second framework, while similar, is actually focused on releasing past identity and shifting the subconscious to then build a new you. The thermostat. Think of your self-image like a thermostat. You might temporarily heat up your life, new habits, a new job, a great relationship. But if your inner setting is still stuck at low self-worth, your subconscious will crank the temperature back down. Procrastination, self-sabotage, burnout, these aren't random. They're just your internal thermostat kicking in, just like your immune system does when a virus attacks. Here's how to change the setting. Step 1, interrupt the old image. Notice your automatic self-talk when you're under pressure. You can write down the phrases or labels you repeat. Could be something like, I always mess this up, I'm not consistent, I can't handle it. Ask yourself, would I say this to a young version of me? Would I say this to me as a child? If not, it's time to challenge that script. Step 2, mental rehearsal of the new image. Use the video below in the description for my free guided visualization. Are you seeing a pattern here? Just like framework 1, spend some time visualizing yourself already being the upgraded version of you. What are you doing? What do you look like? How do people respond to you? If you skip the last framework, just know that your subconscious doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So repetition of that image builds familiarity. Step 3, align your daily actions with the image. Ask, what does someone with that self-image do today? Then do just one small thing they would. This could be sending the email, saying no to the distraction, showing up 5 minutes early. Small proof adds up, and your subconscious updates based on evidence, not intention. Now here are the performance psychology driven models. They are more straightforward than the subconscious based models, and the practical structure to implement them is kind of baked in. Dopamine goal setting, Andrew Huberman style. Here's why most goals fail. They're too big, too far away, and offer no instant reward, and your brain needs immediate reward to stay motivated. So on one hand, you totally could become a stoic Zen master that can hit your hand through the thick wooden block and just get through it all tough, or use the dopamine goal setting framework. This isn't laziness, it's biology. Your nervous system runs on dopamine, and dopamine isn't released when you achieve the goal. It's actually released when you're making measurable progress towards it. That's why breaking your goals down to immediate, achievable micro wins is a non-negotiable if you want to stay consistent and actually make progress, not just to think about it or binge YouTube videos on it. The practical structure is very simple. Instead of launch my business, start with write the home page headline or start the landing page. Instead of lose 20 pounds, start with stick to my macros for a week or a month, right? These tiny wins release dopamine, which reinforces action and builds momentum, swinging towards the big goal. It's a reward loop, not a willpower grind. Write down the big goal, break it into micro steps that might be just outside of what you're comfortable with, and complete it. And then celebrate or reward immediately. Literally say, yes, fist pump, or check it off that list. I love checking stuff off lists. It sounds simple, but it's neurologically quite powerful. That's how you bypass burnout and build discipline without forcing it. Process goals versus outcome goals. Outcome goals sound sexy and exciting. Make $100K, hit 10% body fat, get 100K subscribers. But outcome goals are also vague and they don't tell you what to do today. That's why you need process goals, goals that focus on the actions, not just the results. When you fall in love with the process, you become consistent, and consistency is the real cheat code. Practical structure. If your goal is to lose weight, you might say, I'll work out 5 times a week. Sounds good, right? But if that means 30 minutes on the elliptical while scrolling your phone, you're not really aligning with the intensity your goal requires. Instead, make it a process-specific goal, like do 3 intense full body workouts weekly where I'm sweating and I can't hold a conversation. If your goal is to hit 6 figures in business, don't just write that down. Break it into client-generating processes, like send 5 DMs daily to qualified leads, post 3 pieces of high-value content per week, book 4 sales calls weekly. That's process goals. Process equals progress. And the more detailed and dialed in it is, the more control you have over your output towards the main goal. Get process obsessed, not outcome obsessed. So whether you're shifting your identity, upgrading your self-image, using neuroscience-backed dopamine loops, or anchoring into detailed process goals. These frameworks are what helped me act when I was scared, stuck, and overwhelmed. But can you show up as this version of you every day consistently? In the next video, I'll show you the tool that locked all of this in for me. It's a 5-minute daily visualization routine that helped rewire my nervous system so I could literally change how I showed up every day.